not sure if you can hear me over the noise of the waterfall. There's a lot more water than there normally is here. Now, I use a Lee 7.5 system on the G9. The G9 also has the 12 to 60 Leica. I think it's a f2.8 to f4. I'm going to also be using a big stopper, which is a 10-stop filter, because we are at nearly 11:30 in the morning, so it's a bit bright. But I like the brightness on the waterfall because you get the patches of light breaking through, which also hit the foliage around the waterfall. Now, I normally expose for the water, not for the surrounding area, because that way you can always bring up the shadows. But if you expose for the outer edge and not the water, you get an overblown image. The water just looks terrible. So let me put the filter on and see how we go. What I normally do is I use the manual focus on the camera, so you can just tap the rear focus button once, it will focus and it won't refocus again. So I make sure everything's in focus before I put the filter on, because a 10-stop filter tends to cut out all the light, so you can't focus. And there you go. So we'll do a test shot, re-level it in. Lee Filter have an app for an iPhone and Android, I think. So basically you work out your exposure now, which is around about 30 of a second. So I put 30 of a second on there, and that will tell me I need a 30-second exposure for the big stopper, which is a 10-stop filter. Let's see if it works. Nice thing with the Panasonic G9, it actually counts down the seconds, so you know when it's going to finish. And also another bit that I suggest you do is actually remove the noise reduction, because if you're shooting a 30-second exposure, it takes another 30 seconds to clean the image up. You can do that in Lightroom, Photoshop afterwards. So the image, water's exposed. Now I'm going to extend that because I'm not happy with that. I'm going to extend that another 10 seconds. So the timer kicks in. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shoot with the high res mode. And I'm going to take the timer off, okay? So we're going to take the shot. But the problem here is it will only let you go up to 1 second. It won't let you go any longer. So my 25-second exposure has disappeared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my ISO up to 1600. Okay, and then I'm going to go down to about F5, and then let the camera do its work, because this has an automatic timer on it. So it doesn't take the shot straight away. It gives you a couple of seconds, then it takes the multiple shots. And then it creates the image. Again, I've never tried this with a waterfall. No. Well, that actually looks quite good. I'm finished up now, so I'm going to head back to the car. It's about a 25-minute walk. Now, when I get back to the car, I want to discuss some things. There's something that I need to discuss, basically. As photographers, we have a responsibility when we do landscapes, so I'll see you in a minute. Thank you. Now, before I head back to Auckland, I just want to talk to you about something. I use the Low Pro Whistler 350, and it has a pocket on the side, which I think you're meant to keep snacks in, but I actually keep these biodegradable plastic bags, and I make sure it's my job when I'm walking around to pick up other people's crap, basically. This was on the trail, not in the car park, which I showed you earlier. This is on the trail to the waterfall. It's Coke cans, beer bottles, sweet wrappers, energy bar wrappers as well. So I make sure it's my job to pick up other people's crap, because I want to keep this country and this landscape looking beautiful for as long as I possibly can. So as photographers, we have a job to do this, because we photograph these beautiful landscapes and they won't stay beautiful for long if people keep doing this. This is everywhere in New Zealand, on the roadside. This is a car park to a walk and a beautiful waterfall, and it just ruins this country. So take a carry bag with you, preferably biodegradable, take it back with you and put it in your recycling bin, because for some reason this car park doesn't actually have a bin, which I think is very strange. But anyway, please take a carrier bag and pick up other people's rubbish and keep your country, every country, looking beautiful, and protect the wildlife, protect nature. The Panasonic G9 is an amazing little camera. It has a high res mode, which basically moves the sensor, kind of vibrates the sensor, and it produces a 70 something megapixel raw image. I wanted to test that, that's why I went to the waterfall. Now I'm going to show you 3 images. The first image was shot at ISO 200 and at 30 seconds with the Lee big stopper filter on the front. The following 2 images, which is a little bit confusing, will be shot at ISO 1600 and 1 second. The reason for that is that the maximum shutter speed on the high res mode on the G9 is 1 second. I can't go any higher than that. And I wanted to keep the big stopper filter on the front, mainly because you will lose a little bit of sharpness with the filter, and I wanted to keep all the 3 images even. White balance was on auto, everything standard, which I can then correct in Photoshop. Well, not Photoshop, I'm actually going to show you this in Aperture. Yes, I still use Aperture, just mainly because I can show all 3 images together, and I can zoom in and zoom out, and it can also show you the metadata of the photos. So the next part of this video will be those images. Okay, so the first image we start off with is a standard waterfall shot. This was shot at 30 seconds, f6.3 and ISO 200. And as you can see, it's a great shot, very stable, a lot of detail. And as I zoom in, you'll see all the detail on there. Now this is at 100%. Great shot. They've had no work done to them. They are straight out of the camera and they're JPEGs. They're not the RAWs, because sadly Aperture has got so old now it won't accept the RAW files. But that's irrelevant at the moment because we're just working off the JPEGs. Now the next photo you'll see is the high res mode. Now it does look a little bit darker around the edges, but that's the high res mode we've got at the moment. Now this was shot at ISO 1600, 1 second and f3.4. Now I replicated that image with a standard 1 second shot out of the camera. So it's not the multiple shots that is taken to make the higher res photo. So this is a 17.9 megapixel image. Now as you can see, the high res image looks a lot smoother. The water looks more silkier and the bottom is smooth as well. It looks very much like the 30-second image. If I put them both together, you'll see they look a lot like, not as much obviously because one's a 30-second image, but then when you look at the 1 second photo at the bottom of the water down here, see there's a big difference in this. So it does actually work. And if I go back to the high res photo, there is no issues with the photo at all. There are no problems. It shows great image, it's great quality, and the clarity is really good. It takes a little bit of a time to filter through, obviously, because it's a big file, and again, Aperture's getting old. It's an old program. So basically what we've got, this is the standard 17.5, and then this is, sorry, the 17.9 megapixel file, and this is a 71.7 megapixel file. So the one on the left hand side, this one, is the standard image. The one on the right is the high res one. Now if I zoom in to match up the size, this is both at 100%, so you can see there's a big difference straight away. So if I go to this rock area, there's rock about here. There's a plant just around about here. Now if I bring that up on here, which is there. Now if I zoom in the standard photo, not the high res one, if I zoom it in to match the size there, maybe even a little bit more, so it's going to be about 200%, you can see that the high res photo has a lot more detail. Even though both of these are shot at a kind of relatively high ISO for a Micro Four Thirds, which is 1600, they still have great detail
for an ISO 1600 image, but the high res one has a lot more detail. You can see it here. You can see there's a lot more detail on that plant there on the rock. These photos are just shot to see what the image quality is like, and if the high res mode can actually shoot a waterfall with no issues. And it shot great. Now the next two shots we got are another two. So again, the one on the left, this one is a standard 17.9 megapixel image, and the one on the right is a 71.7 megapixel image. Now I'm going to zoom in again so you can see. Now take a little bit of time to load because a lot more information here. But again, if you look here, so if I take it into 200%, you can see that plant on the rock. And then if I go over to this one here, probably take up about 350%. You can see there's no detail in that plant at all on the standard image. It's there, but it's got no detail. And on this one, the high resolution is incredibly good. I mean, that has blown me away. You can see every leaf on that plant. So there is a huge difference. Now, the quick fix obviously for the water would be just to add a boom. And then on this one, we would then add the waterfall, and then that would give us the color that we want. And again, I expose for the water area, so I can bring up the shadows in the RAW, and that will be done in Lightroom. But this is just to give you a comparison on detail. Like I said, you can see the huge amount of detail there as opposed to no detail there. So the high res mode does work, and it gives you a very impressive large image, super sharp. And again, like I said, it's been able to shoot the waterfall, which is moving water, with no issues. I can't find any problems with it. I have seen some issues online of people shooting landscape and a car moving along, and it seems to give like a funky image around the car area because it's moving across. But with the waterfall, it's done a great job. Very, very happy with that. And as you can see, the G9 is worth the money. To be able to get a 71.7 megapixel image from a small micro four thirds sensor and get that amazing resolution. And this is, again, this is an ISO 1600. So it can be even better at ISO 200. But like I said, I wanted to test the camera exactly the same. And the closest I could get to that was by keeping the filter on the front, which was the 10-stop filter. So that was why these were shot at ISO 1600. So if I take you away from that, I will put up the high resolution photo and the standard one, which was shot at ISO 200. Now I'm going to bring up that plant, which is there. Okay, 200%. Let's go, let's take it to that. All right, okay, so we can get that up a little bit more. Okay. So that's 289%, and then we bring up this one. As you can see, that image holding the detail, and that's the left image now is the high resolution one, and the right image is the standard 17, if I remember right, it's a 17.9 image. You can see, even with the high ISO, as opposed to the 200 ISO and the 1600 ISO, there's a lot more detail in the high res image. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was great to get out and show you how beautiful and special New Zealand is, and one of the special places I like to shoot. The G9 is an incredible camera. The high resolution mode is super impressive. It's impressed me. I can't believe how good that actually works, and especially on a waterfall. As you saw from the images, there was no issues with them, and I didn't think that would work because it's a moving subject. The water obviously is moving, but it worked really well. This is the direction I want to take the channel in. I want to get out more and show you the places that I love to go and basically show you how I shoot. Now, I will be heading over to Asia in a few weeks. That's for work, but it will be incorporated in the YouTube channel. subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe so you will see the videos and you will see the updates as they come through. Follow me on Facebook and also follow me on Instagram. I put more on there daily than I do with the videos because running the gallery kind of restricts me a little bit in doing these videos. I love doing these videos and I love doing this YouTube channel and I want this channel to grow, but I need your feedback. Give me feedback, let me know if you have any questions about the G9, leave them below and I will do my best to answer them. But thank you so much for watching this video and I'll see you again soon.